Mabuhay Pilipinas! I hope all is well for all of us. It's me again, Cantal, together with Kalagaw and Ramon.
What's up, Filipinas? Welcome to Rizal Real Talk, a podcast where we hope to make Rizal's life, struggles, and ideas relevant to the issues of today and bring him to life as a living, breathing conversation for young people today.
Welcome back. Glad to see you again, listeners, from another episode of Rizal Real Talk. Recap from last episode, we discussed fake news and disinformation about Rizal annotation of Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, help correct the distorted image of Filipinos during Spanish colonization. And we back with another topic today, so sit back, relax, and join us.
As we dive into the tool used by Rizal and reformists in order to push for awareness and change, a bi-weekly newspaper published in Barcelona and later in Madrid by Filipinos in Spain from 1889 to 1895, La Solidaridad.
La Solidaridad wasn't just a newspaper, it was a significant tool for the Filipino propaganda movement during the late 1800s. This was where intellectuals expressed their ideas, grievances, and aspirations for the Philippines. Like, imagine being one of the Filipinos who just uses the power of their words to fight the injustice happening. This was all due to the influence of Jose Rizal.
Alongside writers like Marcelo H. del Pilar and Graciano Lopez Haina, it was Graciano Lopez Haina who oversaw the La Solidaridad's first edition, then has succeeded by Marcelo del Pilar. If I'm correct, the first issue of La Soli was advocate the inclusion of Filipinos in the Spanish government, and it also sought to end the government practice to exiling reformism from the Philippines.
The threat. And even though Rizal wasn't the most active writer in La Solidaridad, his influence and support gave it credibility and direction. His ideas about equal rights, education, representation echoed in many of the articles. He believed that meaningful change could start with an informed and united Filipino voice.
And like La Solidaridad, the contributors were mostly members of the propaganda movement, a group of educated Filipinos based in Europe who wanted to achieve reform through peaceful means.
Imagine doing that without today's tech. No social media, no website, just pen and paper. A deep sense of love for country. Their work was dangerous too. If they were caught writing or distributing those ideas in the Philippines, it could mean exile or even death. This was not a joke. They were battling their lives for reform.
I agree. Press freedom should not be taken lightly. Even now in present times, there are tons of journalists who go through dangers and are risking their lives to report the truth. I mean, just look at Maria Ressa, the first Filipino Nobel Peace Prize laureate. She's been a vocal advocate for press freedom and faced multiple legal battles just for holding a power to account through journalism. Or Atom Arroyo, he's known for tackling social issues in his documentaries like climate change, poverty, and human rights.
Exactly. These journalists today are walking in the same spirit as Rizal and the writers of La Solidaridad. They hold the line so that the truth doesn't get buried under misinformation. Like Howie Severino too. His documentaries don't just inform, they make you think deeply about the realities that we often ignore.
That's real talk. And one thing I admire about Rizal and his circle is how they use their intellect to fight back. They didn't pick up weapons or torture anyone. Instead, they picked up their pens. La Solidaridad has their battlefield, and their articles were their ammo. Rizal even wrote under the pen name Al Laong Laan, while Del Pilar used Plaridel. They had to hide their identities to protect themselves and continued to speak out.
That's true. When we protect the freedom of the press, we protect our right to know, to question, and to speak out. Rizal may not be alive right now, but he used what he had, his pen and his principles, and look at the impact he made.
Minsan kasi, we get too comfortable just scrolling through content online. But we forget that behind those headlines are real people doing real work under real pressure. That's why supporting independent media matters. Even just verifying facts before sharing or choosing to read from credible sources, it makes a difference.
So, listeners, the next time you read an article or hear someone called journalist biased or bayaran, pause and think, who benefits when we discredit the truth? What's the stake when we stop listening to facts? Press freedom is just for journalists, it's for all of us.
And if you think about it, there are journalists not globally recognized putting themselves out there and doing the hard work, like community reporters in provinces, campus journalists, alternative media groups. They face red tagging, threats, and harassment just for reporting the truth.
We have a responsibility as citizens, as netizens, to stand up for the truth. And the truth isn't always comfortable or convenient. But like Rizal said, there can be no tyrants when there are no slaves. If we let lies rule, we lose our voice and our freedom.
That's why we do this podcast too, to keep conversation like this alive. So thank you for joining us today as we tackle the role of the press then and now.
We owe it to Rizal, to La Solidaridad, and to all the truth tellers, past and present, to stay vigilant, to think critically, to speak up.
That's it for today's episode of Rizal Real Talk. Don't forget to follow us, share this with your friends, and keep the real talk going.